All right, here I bought me a little motor the other day, and it turned out to be something pretty special. I didn't know what I really had till I got it home. But anyway, I bought a motor there last week, and it was covered up in the corner of a old racer's garage. And I wasn't really sure what it was. I knew it was a 6-cylinder is all I knew, and I bought it. And it comes with a big crate of stuff, and it had the Weaver water pumps, and I mean not water pumps, Weaver oil pumps, a scavenge pump, and a pressure pump. And it's got the braided lines on it. And I also found out that it's dry sump only. There's no place for the oil filter. That's not threaded or anything. And I looked up the part numbers on some of it. It's got the 3.5 gallon oil tank came with it, and also the breather for the gas tank and stuff. And all that was like set in a little box underneath it. And I also got this really nice padded steering wheel that they used. It was in a Nascar Busch car, and it's got the quick release on it. And then this extra hoses. I've not really figured out how all this goes together yet. Like I said, I just got it last week. But it turned out to be a little V6 based off a small block Chevrolet. And it's General Motors Performance Parts bow tie block, dry sump only. It was made for the Busch series. And it's got a 2-piece aluminum intake on it here that you have to take the top off to do like port work inside, or to get to the bolts to take the bottom half off. It's a really trick intake. It's a NASCAR only. And then it came with a set of bow tie heads, General Motors Performance Parts. And I looked up the date code on the block, and it was 1987. And it had number 899 on the side of the block in a couple places down here. And there's a bow tie emblem on it. But anyway, I looked up the part numbers on all that stuff, and it's a 1987 General Motors Performance Parts V6 used in the Busch series. And they supposedly had about 500 to 550 horsepower. And it came with a really trick rocker set on it. I don't have the valve covers off right now though. And a really nice General Motors Performance Parts heads. And they've got engraved on the front of them here, ported by Carmack. And so they must have been a professional porter. I don't know who Carmack is, but he must have ported the heads on it. And it's got a weird balancer on it here. There's no numbers on it. There's just a couple little grooves in it, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8 on this little pointer here. I'll have to find out how it times. But it's a really rare trick motor. These, like I said, these are Weaver oil pumps, and it's dry sump. They go in the bottom of the oil pan around here. Down the bottom of the oil pan, it looks like maybe my neighbor, the racer, there's added on a little reinforcement on the pan. And there's a couple of extra parts that's in the bottom of the box. It's some old spring rubbers that they'd take in and out during the race, and a piece off of a shock tower. That's just extra stuff that was in there. I mean, like I said, I knew the racer. He raced local, and he raced at Bristol, because we live near Bristol, so he would go up there every year and try to qualify. Sometimes he would. And also, Harry Gant drove my neighbor's car at Bristol. He supposedly tried it out for him and told him that his engines run as good as anybody up there, but he needed to work on the handling part of the car. And also he had ties with Morgan Shepherd. But the guy that owned the engine here was local from Kingsport. And like I said, he ran mostly local tracks. And I didn't really know what I had till I got it home and found out about it. It's got 4-bolt mains and a trick even fire steel crank that's got crank pins are separated a little bit. I forget what you call it. And Like I said, it's got a real nice trick set of rockers. It's supposed to have like Corella rods and all real good bottom end parts too. I mean, they were made to turn like 8,000 RPMs for like 3 hours. And I'm a Ford man. I really didn't know what I had till I got it home and started looking up the numbers on it. And it turned out this cast iron block here. See if I can find that $8.99 on it under here. It's right on the side of it somewhere. I don't know, it's on there somewhere. I saw it a couple places. But anyway, that's supposed to be the best block of the V6s. They'd made an aluminum version that wouldn't hold as much horsepower. And then they made an early version of this that didn't have the 4-bolt mains. So I wound up with the 87 was the best one you can have. They even run them on alcohol and turbocharge up to 800 horsepower, and they supposedly hold that bulletproof at that horsepower too. But anyway, I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I've only had it about a week, but looks like I've landed me a real rare NASCAR engine. And AI said there was only about 200 of them ever made. So you can just about imagine that 80, 70, 80, 90% of them has to be gone, blowed up, wrecks, used up. So, and I can't find any info on it. There's nothing like this for sale on Facebook, eBay, Craigslist, racing parts, all that stuff. I've not found one yet, so it must be a pretty rare piece. But anyway, I thought I'd show you guys my little engine here I landed. And I don't know what to do with it since I'm a Ford guy. I'm lucky that up here in Bristol, next to the track there's a machinist up there that's worked on race engines for like 50 years. And he told me that he would take it apart and inspect it for me and put it back together. And so I guess I'll at least get that done. This thing comes with a little spacer that goes between the two pieces of the intake here. And what it's for is like on a super speedway, they would get like more RPMs on the top end with this spacer in there. And then with the spacer out, it had more torque for like off the curves in a short track. So that's why my neighbor had the spacer out, is because he mostly ran short track stuff. And it comes with a nice MSD ignition too. I just throwed them little wires on there, but it comes with a really nice distributor. That's how I found out it was an even fire, because the distributor cap terminals on the inside are all evenly spaced. If it had been an odd fire, they would have been funny looking with weird gaps between them. And this came with the stand. They told me to take the stand and all this stuff was in a crate under it. And they just told me to take everything. But anyway, this motor, it was a little Busch series V6. They call them the killer bees, and some people call them the pissed off hornets. But I'm really lucky I landed this little motor. I didn't know what it was when I picked it up, but it turned out to be a really nice piece. It really is. Those aluminum heads and that bulletproof block and a 2-piece trick intake, and a really nice set of steel roller rockers set up under there. And I also looked down and I could see the solid roller rockers down in it. So it was definitely made to turn like 8,000 RPMs for hours at a time. It's really a nice little motor. And the Weaver oil pumps here, there's a bracket here came with it, and I tried to put them together. I think that's close to how it goes. I'll have to do a little more research to find out. But I know where the scavenge lines goes to this pump, and then this takes it back to the tank. But here's a little pressure pump that supposedly feeds where the oil filter's supposed to be down there. And I got to get all that figured out and get me a little belt for it and put a water pump on it. But it's like 99% complete. Well, it's 100% complete as far as I'm concerned. It just lacks the water pump and just basic stuff that, anybody would have put on there, maybe different stuff back in the day. And it came with a really nice little Carter mechanical fuel pump. Back in the day, that's what they raced. That was a good little fuel pump. I'm hoping it's still good too. But anyway, there's my little Busch V6.